Grand Rising, Ashe, 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 greetings. Grand Rising, a grand and a beautiful day to you all once again, my fellow natural native earthly humans, and welcome to this part 15 of my series of talks, my series of presentations titled Another Perspective, Analysis and Interpretation of Desiderata. Yes, the famous prose poem called Desiderata by the late Max Ehrmann. And you don't know that it is yours truly, I, the Mystic P, along with, of course, this my companion and my old bass guitar. And of course, if you listen carefully, you hear my friends, the recorded sounds of chirping bird sounds, chirping, gently chirping, and echoing the melodious, natural healing, comforting, and therapeutic sounds in the background and in the foreground and all around. Yours truly, I, the Mystic P. You should try it. Listen to it. Yes, now just to remind you, my dear beloved listeners, watchers, and whoever you may be, thanks for being on this channel and for watching me sharing my perspective. Yeah. And if you haven't yet watched from part 1 to part 14, and in that sequential order, if you haven't watched, of this my talks, I suggest and recommend that you please do so, even before you watch this part 15. And if you just happen to watch part 15 to see what it is all about, if this is the first time you're coming across I, the Mystic P, talking and sharing my my views, my perspective and insights. As soon as you finish watch this part 15, I would recommend you go and start from part 1 to part 14, and I can almost guarantee we don't have to agree. These are my perspective, my point of view, my observation, my ranting, my whatever you want to call it. And but one thing I can almost guarantee, it may provoke you to see things a little differently, and think of things a little differently, and see that other people see things differently. All right, so I ask that you please do so. And feel free to leave a comment too, and a suggestion or whatever. Ask a question. It provoke me because I want to use these cells, because as you get old, they start to slow down. So as the saying goes, if you don't use it, guess what? You will lose it. And that's a fact. Now, so I ended part 14. If you listen, you will see I ended part 14 by telling you, all my listeners, that according to children psychologists and other experts in the fields of studying psychology and stuff like that, and observation, in the field of those studies, that the early years, especially the first 3 years of life, are what is considered to be the most important, or the very important, or that they are very important for building the baby's brain. The first 3 years. A child's brain develops rapidly during the first 5 years of life, especially the first 3 years. It is a time of rapid cognitive, linguistic, social, emotional, and motor development. Now, the children psychologists, these same people, continue by saying, and I quote, the years between 6 and 14, middle childhood and early adolescence, are a time of important development, advances that establish children's sense of identity. I say during these years, children make strides toward adulthood by becoming competent, independent, self-aware, and involved in the world beyond their families. Unquote. That is what these psychologists has to say. Now, just allow me to stay on this point for a moment. And in so doing, I will point out a few of what I, the Mystic P, perceive to be some basic but indisputable facts. Train up a child, and quote, train up a child in the way he or she should go, and when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it. Or direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. Unquote. That's a quote from the Proverbs. We dealt with that prior in my last presentation or my last talk. Now, fact number one, indisputable fact number one, from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, every child needs protection, training, and guidance. And every child must get protection, training, and guidance in order to cope, in order to survive, in order to fit into the family, first the family into which it has been born, in order to fit into the community or the village into which it lives, in order to fit into the world community, and in order to be a disciplined, productive, and valuable member of the natural native human world community. Now, fact number two, there is a path, a way into which every child should go. And may I take the liberty and say, not only should, but must go. And again, I ask that you think and meditate upon the word. I'm still in stanza 1 of Desiderata. I ask again that you meditate upon the word. Think and meditate upon the word again here. Go. Fact number 2, according to Mother Nature's law, not man's law, the system's law, but according to Mother Nature's law, it is the sole responsibility of the birth parent of that child to choose and set the path, aka the choose and set the way on which the child should go. And again, may I say, it must go. Again, I ask that you think and meditate on what? The word go. It's a very powerful and important word. Fact number 4. Train up a child, or bring up your child in the way that he or she should go. From the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, correlates with Desiderata. Go placidly. It correlates with Desiderata that said, go placidly amidst the noise and haste. Again, I ask that you meditate on what? And think on the what? The word go. Fact number 5. The rearing, nurturing, and training of a child or of our children, as affirmed by our Mother Nature's law, aka Mother Nature's natural laws, and also by logic and activated and basic activated common sense, is the sole responsibility of the birth parent, aka the mother and the father of the child. And should that responsibility be assigned or carried out by anyone else or by anything else other than the natural birth parent, aka the natural birth mother and father of that child, then the production of a natural, wholesome child is not guaranteed and cannot be guaranteed. In other words, it is not the responsibility of a grandparent, a sister, a brother, according to Mother Nature's natural law. It is not the responsibility of a grandparent, of a sister, a brother, a niece, a relative, a stranger, a nanny, an entertainer. It is not the responsibility of the government, aka the state, the system. It is not the responsibility of the television, the notepad, the iPad, the computer, the cell phone, or technology. It is not the responsibility of AI, you name it or you name them. It is not their responsibility to train up a child or to bring up our children or to bring up a child in the natural way that he or she should go. The fact is that it is not their responsibility to train and to bring up our children or offspring, if you will, and to direct them on the path, on the right path. It is not their responsibility. All the aforementioned, it is not, and more, it is not their responsibility to rear our offspring and guarantee a naturally wholesome child, or to guarantee naturally wholesome children. Now, if I am correct, remember these are my perspectives. If I am correct, the operative word here is if. If I am correct, then we don't have to look any further or very far in order to understand, and understand why the world and our children, why society and our children are in the mess, the chaotic mess that they are in today. And the evidence will show, and the evidence has shown, that all other animals in nature that are raised by their natural birth parents, the evidence will show that the animals that are raised by their parent mature, become and act as the animal that Mother Nature intended for them to be or to become. For example, in nature, you don't see and you won't see an eagle rear its young, and it or they, the young, grow up and become crows or start acting like crows. You know, see eagle grow them pygmy and they start growing and act like crows, if you will. And nor would you see an elephant rear its young and it grow up acting like a boar, like a pig, or like a bear, etc. It just don't, and it won't happen in nature. This will and this only happen on a farm, aka on a plantation, where animals are scientifically and otherwise experimented on, bred, where they are bred, animals are bred and crossbred, raised and trained to become what the farmers, aka what their gods, the government, and other mind controllers intended for them to become and to act. Fact number 6. If or when we, the parents, meaning the fathers and the mothers, are broken, if or when we are broken, then it is extremely difficult, if not totally impossible, for us to rear or to bring up, to raise or to bring up, train and produce wholesome, naturally wholesome children. As it's saying, go blind can lead blind. Meaning, if we are broken mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, morally, ethically, and even financially, etc., then we must be honest and admit that it is extremely difficult, if not totally impossible, for us to rear or to bring up, train, and produce naturally wholesome children. Children without any scars, children without any blemish, children without issues from our brokenness, from the parents, brokenness. My interpretation and understanding of this quote: train up a child in the way that he or she should, again, go. And when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it. Or, if you prefer, direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. My interpretation of this is that we as parents, meaning literal biological mother and biological father, the two people that Mother Nature brought together biologically to conceive the child or the children, should almost rear or raise, nurture, and train them properly, so that when they grow old or when they become adults themselves, they will not depart from the right path, aka they will not, they will, the natural path. They will not depart from the natural path. They will not depart from the natural way. They will not depart from the moral values, the virtues, the moral code of ethics, the upright and outstanding character and qualities that we, their parents, have passed on to them and have instilled in them. Now, according to the late Dr. Dorothy Law Nolt, director of philosophy, in her poem entitled "Children Learn What They Live." In other words, and as the saying goes, what monkey see, monkey do. And in this case, what our children see, our children do. Children learn what they live, meaning our children learn from us, their parents and adults, by literally imitating us. This, yes, literally imitating us. That's how children grow. But I just realized, click on the time, we run out of time. So this will be the end of part 15 for today. So again, I ask that you please stay tuned to this, the Mystic P Acoustically, this channel titled the Mystic P Acoustically. And join me again tomorrow for part 16. And that is if I am gifted with another day, and one in which I continue to experience and full joy, good health, abundant life, freedom, safety, peace of mind, and good relationships with people like you all, my listeners and well-wishers. Please join me tomorrow when and where I will continue to share with you some more of my perspectives, some more of my analysis, some more of my insights and interpretation of stanza 1. I haven't yet gone from stanza 1 yet, of Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste. And remember, what peace there may be in silence. In the meantime, and between time, I ask that you continue to think, meditate, and contemplate on the word placidly. Go placidly. And lively up yourself, full joy, and be more, and much, much more. It is not my will that you be less, but that you be more, and much, much more. For Ashe, 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 I say.